Who have been the best Dallas Stars so far this season? I'll share my top 10 list. We'll also preview the Anaheim Ducks, and it looks like the Stars could be getting some bodies back. All that and more on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, forward producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. We're only 13 games into the season, but I'm going to share with you my top 10 players of the season so far with the Dallas Stars. Let me know yours in the comments below. I want to see if we match up. Maybe there's some big disagreements, but I have to put this out in the universe. So stay tuned for that. We're going to preview the Anaheim Ducks, and the Stars could be getting some bodies back. Rope Hintz potentially will make an appearance tonight against the Ducks, who are no slouch this season. They really haven't been a slouch recently for Dallas, but certainly not this year as they're off to a great start. But let's have some fun and rank the best Dallas Stars so far. I think some of these may be controversial. Some of these may be obvious, but would love to compare with some of your list in the comments. So I was going to just do top 5, and then it was just too hard because I feel like I wanted to shout out some more guys. So we're doing, I guess, essentially almost half a starting lineup. But top 10 players, we'll start from 10. Actually, we'll start from 1 because I think some of these are more obvious. 1 goes to Miko Rantanen. I think it's pretty cut and dry. 17 points. He has 3 power play goals. He's leading the Stars offensively, has been everything you could have hoped for as he begins his first full season in Victory Green. Even with the injuries, continues to produce. It doesn't matter really who he's playing with, whether that's a Sam Steele, whether that's Hintz, whether it's Johnston, Robertson, you name it, he fits in. He's finding a way to get the job done. Number 2, Wyatt Johnston, who's just quietly sort of being his sidekick this season. He is growing again. Like every year he seems to improve. He's 22 years old now. What, is he still 21? It doesn't matter. He finds a way to improve. You look at his game, he's shooting more, 28 shots on goal. That's second most on the team at 5-on-5. His points per 60 is 1.74. That's third, just behind Rantanen. You name it, he's all over the place. 14 points. He has 7 goals. He just continues to be a stud, and he's played with Bork. He's kind of been up and down the lineup and has just found a way to produce and really has, I think, even maybe been better than I could have expected coming out of the gates, although I predicted him to score 40 goals. I think 40 or almost 40. Either way, I think he's pretty obvious. He's at least been top 3. The third, I went with Miro, playing a ton of minutes. He's played the most minutes, playing in all situations. Some of it is more recent. Of course, he has been excellent really during the 7-game point streak for Dallas, has been superb. We're starting to see him skate better. I thought the first dozen or half dozen games or so, it just wasn't moving quite like we're used to seeing. Lately, it's what you would come to expect of number 4. Has his fingerprints on all situations. The Stars power play is great. He's a big part of that. Scored a big time goal the other night. He's just doing it all. Killing more penalties this year. They're putting a hard load on him, and he's looked like a number 1 defenseman and is coming into his own here this season, coming off an injury too, a big one. Although I know he came back at the end of the year, the playoffs in the spring, but y'all know what I mean. This is where it got tough for me. It was between Otter and Robertson. I gave the edge to Jake. I think he's been really good. He had to make some big time saves early. Had a baby as well. Maybe that factored in. Not that it has anything to do with his on-ice performance, but they were asking him to do a lot early. His team was not very good defensively, and he had to weather some of that storm. I mean, that game against Colorado, he just completely stole it. Has the shutout the other night. He's looking better. It helps that the defensive game in front of him is getting better. He's got pretty decent numbers here to begin the season. 5-2, a .913 save percentage, 2.53 goals against. I could see an argument to make him lower. I had Robo right behind him. Robertson, I would like the goal production to maybe be up a bit. That's just nitpicky. He's got 3 in 13 games, 11 points in 13 games, but has looked good. I think he's skating better than we've seen at least any time last year. The first couple of games, I was like, God, he's moving extremely well. Like, he's hunting. I've highlighted his shot on goal numbers, 56 shots on goal. That is the most on the team this year. And he's got a shooting percentage of 5.4%. You would think that's going to tick up. So if that kind of regresses, or I guess improves to the mean, he's going to be in good shape, and the goals should start coming for him a bit more regularly. I would think. I'm curious what his goal his expected goals would be. It's 4.4. It's the highest on Dallas. Yeah. So I think the goals will start coming a bit more regularly. 6, I'm going with Seguin here. I think Seguin has just been a lifeline to some degree for Dallas with the injuries. He's had to fill in, play center, play wing, and made a real jump this season, coming on a side where they're without their captain. Made a jump in leadership is where he's going with that, and he's sort of had to bend the pseudo leader for Dallas without their captain, and has played a pretty darn good game as well. 5 points in 13 games, is filled in on the power play, and I just think has been a real great sort of surprise for Dallas. And he's playing 18 minutes. Like, he's playing more than I think they would rather have him playing, and hasn't dropped off too much. It's no secret Duchene helps his game, so it's tough. But he's also being asked to play with like an Adam Ernie, play with Blackwell, playing with Bastian at some point. So he's not going to get those prime opportunities that he would with Duchene in the offensive zone, but I think deserves credit for what he's done and filled in this year. 7, I went with Hintz. I know he's been injured recently, but a point per game since has actually, it's easy to forget since we haven't seen him recently, but has been really strong for Dallas in a lot of ways. Him with Rantanen is a great combination too, but as I've stated, I don't know if they go back to that after what we've seen with Robo and Johnston, but has been excellent this season, has been flying around. They miss him on the power play too. He's usually always a weapon for them. And I think when he gets back, he'll fit right back in. And he's key in the dots too. You forget like that part of the game when players like him are out, Duchene as well. 8, I went with Lindell. I think that's just pretty self-explanatory. Although the PK hasn't been great, I know he's a big part of that, but I think he's been quiet and just sort of does what Esa Lindell does. Blocks a lot of shots. He doesn't give up a ton of chances on his end. and he's a +4 on a team that is a combined -28. I know plus minus isn't always a great way to measure a player, but he is usually keeping the bad away. It's just I went with Harley. I think Harley deserves credit. I know he hasn't been great lately, but he got off to such a roaring start. He's got 9 points, leads all defensemen for Dallas. Still a dangerous threat on the power play. He's had a couple of a great place to set up goals. He set up the one for Ritskovian on his first career goal against Florida. Deserves some credit for what he's done. He needs to get back to some of it, but he deserves some credit for the good. And hopefully he can right some of the mistakes that he's made here recently. But sometimes it's easy to harp on that, and you gotta point out the positive was Harley, and he's still been a threat for Dallas. And they're asking him to play with Lyubushkin again, and it stinks that Lundkvist is out. They were a pretty hot pairing to begin the season. 10, I kind of cheated. I went like Bork/Steele. I wanted to give credit to both of them just for what they've done. Look, the numbers aren't eye-popping offensively, but Steele, strong penalty killer, has looked good with Rantanen. He's looked good with Seguin here recently. He's turned it on late. I think he just does a lot of hard, grimy work that doesn't get noticed enough. And I think Bork's sort of in that similar category. I hope the production starts to increase really for both of them, but Bork especially feels like he could really pop off here with what we've seen. So that's my top 10 stars so far this season. We may do this throughout the year, but as of 11/5, November 5th, when I'm recording this tonight, those are my top 10 stars of the season. Let me know yours in the comments below. Maybe we're completely different. Maybe we're pretty similar, but would love to compare some lists and see where maybe we align with. But those are my top 10. Hope you enjoyed that. Thought that'd be some fun to break up some of the seriousness, some of the serious hockey talk we have on Locked On Stars, because of course you all know I have the answers here on Locked On Stars, and this is my medium to get it out, and that's what I do: share all the right answers, and eventually it will come to light. Let's preview the Ducks. I watched a bit of their game the other night. I want to talk about them, some potential dangers the Stars have to be aware of and stay away from here tonight against Anaheim. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game, you can ride the hot hand. FanDuel has live bets. They also have a same-game parlay, right? It's all about trying to find that bigger payout, and that's where FanDuel comes in. Same-game parlays. You can do individual player props. There's multiple ways for you to get in on the action and just try to find that better payout, and it keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And the fun thing about FanDuel right now is FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when you play that first $5 bet and you win. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. The Anaheim Ducks are off and running, or paddling, I should say, this season. As I'm recording, they are first. Yes, they are number one in the Pacific Division, 8-3-1. It's interesting when you look at the standings right now, just throughout the NHL. At one point, every team was above 500 in the Eastern Conference, but there's a lot of teams that I at least came in thinking we're going to be contenders to at least make the playoffs. St. Louis and some others. Man, St. Louis got cranked tonight, 6-1. They have just been abysmal. Minnesota's a team. They haven't been great. It's been, the Ducks, Seattle, Utah. Man, they have really, really surprised. Although, Utah was a team I said when I made predictions, they were going to be the one that really bites me in the rear end. And they certainly are so far this season. But yeah, Anaheim's playing some really, really good hockey. They're coming off a 7-3 victory over the Florida Panthers. Their power play went nutso, 2 for 7 in the contest. I watched the third period, the majority of it. It became a real penalty fest. There was like 6 successive penalties. I was like, what am I watching? But look, they are starting to reap the benefits of a team that's drafted high forever. And, they made some moves over the summer. They went out, they traded for Paling. Go Huskies. They shipped off Zegras. They brought in some bodies. And they're also just finally reaping the benefits of some, really good talent. Joel Quenneville's now behind the bench for them. They are missing Granlund, who actually got off to a nice start, 8 points in 8 games. It would stink if Granny's not able to play, but a lower body injury. He's expected to be out 2-3 weeks, so the Stars will not see him. But Cutter Gauthier, who is 22, had a hat trick in the game against Florida, so he comes in rolling. And Leo Carlsson, who I feel like we've talked about for a couple of years, yeah, he's damn good. 18 points in 12 games. He leads them offensively. And then you have Troy Terry. Yeah, he's got 15. I mean, like, they just have talent out the rear end. These are young, extremely, extremely good players, and they are strong down the middle. McTavish, they added Granlund for some depth, Carlsson, and they have good veterans, right? Kreider and Trouba. They brought in some guy like Killhorn, right, to just give them some maturity, and they are really led from the net on out. Lucas Dostal is probably the best goaltender in the NHL right now. He's up there, has just been superb. 912 save percentage, 2.59 goals against. I know the numbers aren't glowing, but when you look at some of the analytics, I mentioned goal save above expected. He's number 1 in the league this year. They have good young depth, and they get help from everywhere, right? It's not just one line, not one guy. They do have some size too. They just have a good makeup. This is a good young team that could be around all season. I know it's a great start. You don't want to get over your skis, but could be around. 5th this season in goals for, 47, goals against 37. So they're about middle of the pack. 5-on-5 game has eluded them a bit. They've been a team that has had a decent power play to begin the year. PK's decent. They're about middle of the pack. But, they're first in the league in goals per game, 3.92. And they're scoring a lot. They got 35 on 5 goals this year. You look at, the shots, 4 shots against. They have more shots against than shots for. They're giving up some chances, so they will give you some. But it's Dostal who cleans it up and usually saves their bacon when you do get some of those looks. And I want to say he had an excellent start last year against the Stars in Dallas. So this is going to be, I think, a really good I'm excited for this one. He's 1-0-1 against Dallas career, 2.95 goals against, 910 save percentage. So nothing crazy, but I think he had a performance of a lifetime the other season. I can't remember exactly. I wonder if I can find it. I can't find it right off the top, but yeah, he's a stud. So look, there's a lot of guys you gotta look out for, right? And they're going to have speed. They play hard. They play fast, and that's where I think Dallas can get into some trouble if they're not prepared. They put a drumming on Florida 7-3. Florida was a bit stuck in the mud at points in that contest. So really, really excited for this one. I really am, a lot more than I've probably been for Ducks Stars games in a long time. Ducks come in. They've won 4 straight. They've won 6 out of their last 7. So, yeah, get ready. It's not going to be an easy one tonight at home for Dallas. So those are some things to look out for tonight as the Ducks roll into Big D. Stars could be getting some bodies back. I want to give some updates on some injuries for the Stars, and maybe Rope Hintz is going to be back in the lineup. Hopefully, let's get into that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Wyatt. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Wyatt comes in. Wyatt.com offers fast, exciting doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help stop making excuses and start making moves. Wyatt makes it so easy to get started. You connect with a board-certified doctor. It's 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, in-person appointments. If you get prescribed, ships discreetly to your door. It's fast. It's simple. It's all about confidence, so you can start being back in the moments that matter. Visit Wyatt.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNHL so they know we sent you. Wyatt, stop making excuses and start making moves. So Robert Tiffin, shout out to him, Stars Thoughts, did put out a comprehensive sort of look at all the injuries the Stars have gone through and some updates. So wanted to roll those out to you as we prepare for tonight. You know, Mika Rantanen did not skate yesterday, but he's not dealing with an injury. Just a maintenance day, and yeah, he probably deserves it for what he's done here in the opening month of the season. Radek Faksa was a bit of a surprise. He was ill. He did not play last game, so he was dealing with an illness, and there's a chance he's back in the lineup tonight. Duchene, who took that big hit against Minnesota, but came back for a game, and then we haven't seen him since. He's still termed day to day. Duchene is skating, and they were just waiting for his body to kind of be there. They say it's just lingering. He was not, by the way, diagnosed with a concussion, which is good news. But I am fascinated to kind of maybe what the effects are. It just stinks, and I hope it's not something that's like going to constantly linger. And they can get him back out there quickly. It says, Robert put, we haven't seen Duchene on the ice for a week after the practice, but it's possible he's been skating separately with 2 other injured teammates, as he recently did on October 28th. So hopefully he's back soon. Benn, of course, we kind of know, underwent surgery. Goldson did say hopefully he can skate starting sometime this week. So that's pretty good news. I've kind of said Thanksgiving is kind of where I see a likely return for Benn. Anything earlier, I think, is sort of a win. Of course, has not played yet after suffering the collapsed lung in the preseason game. Hence, hasn't skated like full time, but he's kind of been, around. He was at morning skate the other night ahead of the Oilers game. It's an upper body injury. Hence is participating. He's still officially day to day. And Robert puts here, he would guess he's closer than Duchene. Kind of feels right. Nils Lundkvist, of course, we haven't heard about in a while. He said something happened in game. He's just going to have it looked at. We're pretty optimistic. That was back a few weeks ago. He's, still week to week. And it stinks since, man, he's getting these opportunities, and now he's gotten hurt each of the last 2 seasons. He is on the LTIR. So I don't think he's available quite yet, maybe another week or so before he's at least eligible to come off the LTIR. Look, that's that's a large sample size. I mean, look at that. So if you just take Rantanen out, Faksa, Duchene, Benn, Rope Hintz, that's 4, really coming into there. That's 4 top 6, 3 top 6 guys in Fox. So who's the fourth line? Your fourth line center, man. And they got Nils, who was your top 4 D-man. coming into this year. Like it is key guys. Duchene worries me just because, as they say, like it's lingering, and I hope it's not something where it kind of never goes away, because that would just suck. So I pray, I suppose, that it's something he can fully, come back from and not allow it to hinder him the rest of the year. Just really, it's just crazy. Like, you would think maybe concussion related because he got popped, but he did come back for that one game. I think it was St. Louis, and obviously maybe something wasn't right, and then he kind of shut it down. The nice thing is the Stars are weathering the storm without some of these guys, so maybe you can feel like if your Golitzin, give these guys some extra time because it is still so early in the season. They want to be extra cautious, which I get. I certainly do. But at some point, you want to get these guys in the flow of things. You've already had to deal with so much discombobulation with the new systems and whatnot. When you get these guys back, you're kind of having to throw it all together once again. You kind of maybe have to relearn some things. Hopefully not, but it's going to be different, and they're going to have to work through some of that when they finally get everybody back, which is probably not realistic. You're probably not going to have everybody all at one time. It's just the nature of the NHL. Guys are going to get hurt, but as healthy as possible, of course, is the hope. But those are some updated injuries reports. And again, maybe Hintz is back tonight against Anaheim. That would sure help with skating in the morning skate the other day against Edmonton. Should be a fun one tonight. This one is on Victory Plus. Two teams that have embraced Victory Plus, Anaheim and Dallas. So I guess you could watch on either broadcast team if you wanted. But going to be a fantastic affair. 8-3-1 Ducks, 7-3-3 Stars coming at you tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to break it down. I should have an episode out Friday at a decent time is where I was going with that. I'm going to have one out. I have a long road trip upcoming. I'll be on a bus for quite a bit tomorrow, going to El Paso. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. I can maybe watch the game on the bus to some degree and then get an episode out when I finally get to the destination and kind of get set up. But yeah, just a heads up on that. As always, thank you guys so much for joining us on Locked On Stars. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. We really, really appreciate it. And of course, love you guys for coming along, and appreciate all of you that are new as well. A lot of new subscribers here recently. So thank you for that as well. Have a great night, Stars fans, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long.